If you're a pensioner in this country and your state pension or your savings sit in a British bank account, there's something happening right now that nobody sat you down and explained properly. Not one letter, not one clear announcement on the news, just quiet changes rolling out bank by bank that are already affecting how much cash you can take out, how your pension payments are checked, and where you'll need to go when your local branch finally shuts its doors for good. I'm going to walk you through exactly what's real, what's just noise, and what you need to do this week to make sure none of it catches you out. Stay with me till the end, because the bit about the post office is the part most people are getting wrong. Let me start with something I want to get off my chest. If you've spent any time on Facebook or YouTube lately, you've probably seen a dozen videos with titles like Urgent Deadline for All Pensioners or New Rule Takes Effect This Friday. Half of them give you a different date every time. One says the 5th of January, another says the 10th of February, another says June. They can't all be right, can they? And that's because most of them aren't right at all. They're written to frighten you into clicking, not to actually help you. I'm not going to do that to you. What I want to give you instead is what's genuinely happening, backed by real sources, so you can look after your own money with a clear head instead of a knot in your stomach. So let's talk about what's actually true. The first real change concerns how the Department for Work and Pensions checks the bank account your pension is paid into. From last August, running through this year, if you receive pension credit or another means-tested benefit alongside your state pension, you may be asked to reconfirm your bank details at least once a year. This isn't the DWP snooping through every transaction you make. I want to be clear about that, because a lot of the scare videos imply they're watching your weekly shop. They're not. What they're checking is much narrower, that the name on your bank account matches what's on their records exactly, that the account is still active, and that money isn't quietly being paid into an account that doesn't belong to you. If your name is spelled slightly differently on your bank statement than it is on your pension paperwork, maybe a maiden name, a missing middle initial, an old address, that mismatch can flag your payment for a manual check, and manual checks take time. That's the actual risk here. Not that your pension gets cut, not that anyone's spying on your spending, just a delay if your paperwork doesn't line up. So here's your first practical step, and it costs you nothing and takes 10 minutes. Get your most recent bank statement and compare the name, address, and account details against whatever letters you've had from the DWP or pension service. If anything doesn't match, even something small, ring your bank and get it corrected now, while there's no urgency, rather than in 3 months' time when a payment's been delayed and you're trying to sort it out under pressure. The second real change, and this one's had the most confused reporting of anything I've come across, is around cash withdrawal limits. Several of the big high street banks have, over the course of this year, quietly lowered the daily cash machine limits on certain accounts, and in some cases, they've defaulted older customers onto these lower limits without asking first. Typical daily ATM limits I've seen mentioned sit somewhere between £250 and £500, and weekly rolling limits somewhere around £2,000 to £2,500. Now, I want to stress something important. This is not one government law applying to everybody over 60. There is no single Act of Parliament that says pensioners may only withdraw X pounds a day. What's actually happening is that individual banks, off their own back, are tightening the rules, mainly as a response to the rise in scams that specifically target older customers. Banks have watched fraudsters pressure elderly people into rushing to a cash machine or a branch counter and pulling out large sums under panic, and their answer has been to slow that process down. Bigger withdrawals now often trigger a phone call, a question about what the money's for, or a request for 24 to 48 hours notice if you're taking out a larger sum at the counter. I know how that can feel. If you've managed your own money independently for 40 or 50 years, having a 20-something behind the counter ask you what you need £300 for can feel patronising, even insulting. but I gently ask you to consider it from the other side too. These questions exist because so many people your age have been talked into handing over savings to someone pretending to be a grandchild in trouble, or a bank official, or a courier. The friction is annoying. It's also, in most genuine cases, the thing that stops the fraud actually happening. If you do find the new limits genuinely inconvenient, say you like to withdraw a larger sum monthly rather than dipping into cash machines every few days, most banks will let you request a temporary or permanent increase to your limit, usually by phone or in branch, and it's often approved within hours, not weeks. So don't just accept a limit that doesn't suit how you live. Ring up and ask. Now, let's get to the part 1 promised you, the post office, because this is where I think a lot of people are missing something important, and it's actually good news, not bad news. As bank branches keep closing across the country, and let's be honest, they've been closing for years, and it doesn't look like slowing down, the post office has quietly become one of the most important places for pensioners to access cash face-to-face. Here's the bit that surprises people. Nearly every UK bank account, no matter which bank you're with, can now be used at your local post office counter. You can withdraw cash, pay in cash and cheques, and check your balance, all without needing a post office account of your own. If your nearest bank branch is shut, or the queue is always out the door, the post office is very often your nearest, calmest alternative, and it's staffed by people used to dealing with everyday banking, not just stamps and parcels. On top of that, you'll increasingly see something called a banking hub appearing in towns where the last bank branch has closed. These are shared spaces, funded jointly by several banks, where you can do your everyday banking regardless of who you actually bank with, often with a dedicated day each week where staff from your specific bank are on hand for anything more complicated, like a lost card or a query about your pension payment. If you're not sure whether your town has one or has one planned, it's worth a 2-minute search or a call to Age UK, because a lot of people don't realise it exists until they need it. So let me bring this together into something you can actually act on this week, because I don't want to leave you with a head full of worry and nothing to do about it. 1. Check that your name and details on your bank account match exactly what the DWP holds on file, and fix any mismatch now rather than later. 2. Find out what your bank's current daily and weekly cash withdrawal limits actually are. Don't assume, ring and ask, and if they don't suit you, request a change. 3. Locate your nearest post office and find out if a banking hub exists or is planned near you, so you're not caught out the day your usual branch finally closes. 4. And this one matters most of all, if anyone ever contacts you out of the blue, whether by phone, text, or someone at the door, telling you there's an urgent problem with your pension or your bank account and you need to withdraw or transfer money right now, that is not how genuine banks or the DWP operate. They do not create panic and demand instant action. Hang up, put the phone down, and ring your bank directly using the number on the back of your card, not a number anyone gives you. None of this is about fear. It's about you staying exactly as independent and in control of your own money as you've always been, just with a clear picture of what's actually changing around you, instead of a different scary headline every fortnight with a different made-up deadline attached to it. That's everything I've got for you today, and I hope it's given you something far more useful than another countdown clock and a panic headline. Just the straight facts, so you can make your own decisions with confidence. If this helped clear things up for you, do me a favour and share it with a friend, a neighbour, or a family member who might be worrying over one of those confusing, urgent deadline videos. Because the calmest thing you can hand someone right now is the truth. And if you'd like me to keep bringing you clear, honest updates like this one, no scare tactics, no invented deadlines, just what's real, then subscribe to my channel so you never miss the next one. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.